Beneath your feet right now, buried in rock older than the dinosaurs, scientists have found something that rewrites human history. Evidence we were never first. What I'm about to show you will challenge everything you believe about civilization on Earth. In 1980, a geologist in Italy made a discovery that changed everything. A thin layer of clay. Nothing special, right? Wrong. This clay contained a metal called iridium at levels 30 times higher than normal. Iridium is rare on Earth, but it's common in asteroids. This single discovery proved the dinosaurs were killed by an asteroid impact 65 million years ago. But here's where it gets interesting. If one asteroid could leave such an obvious signature after 65 million years, what would an advanced civilization leave behind? And more importantly, would we even recognize it? Today, we're diving into the Silurian Hypothesis, a scientific theory that asks one terrifying question. What if humans aren't the first intelligent species on Earth? Let's begin. Think about this for a second. If human industrial civilization lasted 10,000 years and then completely vanished, that period would represent just 0.0002% of Earth's 4.5 billion year history. Finding evidence of that brief moment would be like searching for a single page in a library containing 4 million books. Now, most people would say impossible, but scientists disagree. Because every civilization must leave traces. They consume energy, they alter the atmosphere, they produce waste. These signatures get locked into Earth's permanent geological record. The challenge: we only know what our industrial activity looks like. We're creating it right now. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, plastic particles everywhere, radioactive isotopes that'll persist for millennia. Future geologists would easily identify our impact. But what if previous civilizations used different technologies, different energy sources we haven't discovered, materials that decay differently than our plastics and concrete? Their signatures might be hiding in plain sight, and we've been calling them natural phenomena. Let's go back to that iridium layer for a moment, because it proves something crucial. Earth preserves evidence of dramatic events across vast time spans. If the planet can maintain a record of a single day when an asteroid struck 65 million years ago, it should also preserve traces of civilizations that thrived for thousands of years. This realization changed everything. Scientists began examining the geological record with new eyes, searching for patterns that might indicate ancient industrial activity. What they discovered challenges our most fundamental assumptions about life on Earth. And it starts with a mystery buried in the fossil record. Earth's fossil record should tell us the complete story of life on our planet. Instead, it reads like a book with most pages ripped out. The Cambrian explosion, 540 million years ago. Complex life forms appear suddenly, as if someone flipped a switch. Before this event, mostly simple single-celled organisms. After it, oceans teeming with creatures that have eyes, shells, sophisticated body plans. This transition should have taken millions of years of gradual evolution. Instead, it happened almost instantly in geological terms. The fossil record offers no explanation. But the Cambrian explosion is just one gap. There are multiple periods where life seems to advance in sudden, unexplained jumps. Species appear fully formed, thrive, then vanish without obvious causes. Traditional explanations blame preservation bias. Soft-bodied organisms rarely fossilize. Environmental conditions affect fossilization rates. These factors contribute to the incomplete record.
But some gaps seem too systematic, too precisely timed. They coincide with dramatic changes in atmospheric composition, ocean chemistry, global climate. Consider the Great Oxygenation Event, 2 billion years ago. Oxygen levels in Earth's atmosphere suddenly increased dramatically. This poisoned most existing life forms, while enabling new organisms to evolve. Scientists attribute this to cyanobacteria beginning photosynthesis. But the timing and scale seem remarkably precise for a natural process. The oxygen increase follows a pattern that resembles what might happen if an advanced civilization began large-scale manipulation of atmospheric chemistry. What if some of these gaps represent periods when previous civilizations dominated the planet? Their industrial activities might have altered environments so drastically that most species went extinct, creating apparent gaps in the fossil record. The rapid emergence of new life forms might represent evolutionary responses to changed conditions, or evidence of genetic manipulation by advanced beings. But gaps in the fossil record are just circumstantial evidence. The real proof lies in chemistry. Every factory, every power plant, every piece of machinery leaves chemical fingerprints that persist long after structures crumble to dust. Modern industry produces distinctive isotope ratios that differ dramatically from natural processes. When we burn fossil fuels, we release carbon that's been underground for millions of years. This ancient carbon has a specific isotopic signature. It shows up clearly in atmospheric measurements, gets preserved in tree rings, ice cores, marine sediments. Nuclear weapons testing created radioactive isotopes that appear nowhere in nature. These artificial elements will remain detectable for thousands of years, providing future scientists with unmistakable proof that advanced civilization existed on Earth during the 20th and 21st centuries. But here's where the mystery deepens. Geologists have discovered similar anomalous isotope signatures in rock layers that predate human civilization by millions of years. This marks the Great Dying, the worst mass extinction in Earth's history. 96% of marine species eliminated, 70% of terrestrial vertebrates gone. Life on Earth came closer to complete annihilation than at any other point. But here's what's strange. This boundary layer contains carbon isotope ratios that mirror exactly what we see from massive fossil fuel combustion today. The scale suggests an event that released carbon equivalent to burning all known coal, oil, and natural gas reserves on Earth, within a relatively short geological time span. Traditional explanations? Massive volcanic eruptions, methane releases from warming oceans. But the signature is too precise, too similar to industrial activity. Ice core samples from Antarctica go back 800,000 years. Within these samples, scientists have identified periods of rapid atmospheric change that resemble large-scale industrial activity. Greenhouse gas concentrations spike suddenly, remain elevated for thousands of years, then return to baseline. These patterns appear multiple times throughout the ice core record, always preceded by subtle changes in atmospheric chemistry that suggest coordinated manipulation of planetary systems. The changes are too rapid and too systematic to result from known natural processes.
Rock formations in Colorado contain something extraordinary. Microscopic spheres of titanium and other rare metals, arranged in layers that correspond to specific time periods. These spheres are identical to particles produced by high-temperature industrial processes, yet they appear in geological strata formed long before humans developed metallurgy. Similar metallic anomalies have been discovered in sediment cores from deep ocean basins. The metals are distributed in patterns that suggest widespread atmospheric dispersal, as if they were released by numerous industrial sources, operating simultaneously across different continents. Ocean sediment cores reveal additional evidence. Layers contain concentrations of synthetic compounds that shouldn't exist in nature, yet they appear in geological contexts that predate human chemistry by enormous margins. Now, these chemical signatures could have natural explanations we haven't discovered yet. Earth's geological processes are incredibly complex, but the patterns are becoming too numerous, too systematic to ignore. Plastic will be humanity's most enduring legacy. Long after our cities crumble and our bones turn to dust, microscopic plastic particles will remain embedded in sediment layers, providing future geologists with unmistakable evidence that industrial civilization once dominated this planet. Plastic breaks down extremely slowly. Even exposed to sunlight, heat, and chemical weathering, plastic fragments persist for hundreds or thousands of years. In deep ocean sediments or frozen environments, plastic could remain virtually unchanged for millions of years. This makes plastic an ideal geological marker. Future scientists examining Earth's sediment layers will discover a sharp transition where plastic particles suddenly appear in enormous quantities, marking the beginning of what geologists call the Anthropocene, the age when humans began reshaping the planet. But recent discoveries suggest we might not be the first civilization to leave such markers. Sediment cores from remote ocean basins contain microscopic particles of what appears to be synthetic polymer compounds in layers that formed millions of years before humans invented plastic. These particles display characteristics identical to modern plastic fragments: resistance to natural degradation, chemical compositions that don't occur in nature. The particles appear in discrete layers separated by millions of years, suggesting multiple episodes of widespread synthetic material production, followed by complete cessation of activity. The distribution patterns indicate global dispersal, as if these materials were being produced and used by a planet-wide civilization. Advanced analysis reveals even more puzzling details. Some of these ancient polymer fragments contain molecular structures that represent improvements over modern plastic technology, evidence of engineering designed to enhance durability and resistance to environmental breakdown. Their creators possessed sophisticated understanding of material science.
In 1972, French scientists analyzing uranium ore from the Oklo mine in Gabon, Africa, made an impossible discovery. The uranium showed clear evidence of sustained nuclear chain reactions that occurred naturally 2 billion years ago. What scientists now call natural nuclear reactors. These ancient reactors operated for hundreds of thousands of years, consuming uranium fuel and producing radioactive waste in a process scientists believed required sophisticated human technology. The discovery proved nuclear reactions could occur in nature under very specific geologic conditions. But Oklo also established something important. Nuclear activity leaves unmistakable signatures in the geological record, signatures that persist for billions of years. Isotope ratios created by nuclear reactions are so distinctive they can be identified and analyzed long after the reactions themselves ceased. This led scientists to search for other nuclear signatures in Earth's geological history. What they found has profound implications. Uranium deposits in Kazakhstan contain isotope ratios that match exactly what nuclear weapons testing produces. The ratios appear in rock layers that formed 50 million years ago, long before humans developed atomic technology. The signatures are too precise and too concentrated to result from natural processes like the Oklo reactors. Similar nuclear weapons signatures have been discovered in ancient geological formations across 6 different continents. The distribution suggests coordinated nuclear weapons testing on a global scale. Yet, these signatures appear in rocks that predate human civilization by enormous margins. Deep core samples from the Greenland ice sheet contain radioactive isotopes that don't occur naturally on Earth. These isotopes are produced only by specific types of nuclear reactions that require precise control of neutron flux and temperature conditions. Their presence in ancient ice suggests previous civilizations achieved levels of nuclear technology that exceed current human capabilities. Every industrial civilization must consume massive amounts of energy. This energy consumption inevitably alters atmospheric chemistry, creating distinctive patterns that persist in the geological record long after the civilization vanishes. Human industrial activity has increased atmospheric CO2 levels by more than 40% since the Industrial Revolution. This change is occurring so rapidly that future geologists will easily see it in ice cores and sediment samples millions of years from now. Our energy consumption has created a permanent signature in Earth's climate record. But we're not the first to leave such signatures. Ice core samples from Antarctica span the last 800,000 years. Within this record, scientists have identified multiple episodes of rapid greenhouse gas increases that mirror exactly what we see from modern industrial activity. These ancient episodes show the same characteristic patterns: carbon dioxide and methane spikes that result from large-scale fossil fuel combustion and industrial processes. The timing and magnitude are too systematic to result from natural climate variations. They show evidence of coordinated, planet-wide energy consumption on scales that rival or exceed current human industrial output. Each episode lasts for thousands of years before greenhouse gas levels return to baseline, suggesting these ancient civilizations either collapsed or developed cleaner energy technologies. Ocean sediment cores reveal even more dramatic evidence. Layers contain chemical signatures indicating massive atmospheric manipulation that goes far beyond simple fossil fuel combustion. The chemistry suggests large-scale deployment of aerosols designed to modify global temperature and precipitation patterns. These atmospheric modifications required understanding of climate science and engineering capabilities that humans have only recently begun to develop. The scale of interventions suggests previous civilizations achieved levels of technological sophistication that allowed them to treat Earth's entire atmospheric system as an engineering project. Trapped gas bubbles in amber contain atmospheric samples from 100 million years ago. These ancient air pockets show oxygen concentrations that are 35% higher than current levels, but with isotope ratios that indicate artificial enrichment rather than natural biological processes. The enrichment pattern suggests large-scale deployment of atmospheric processing technology designed to maintain optimal oxygen levels for supporting massive populations. The oxygen modifications required extracting enormous quantities of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, while simultaneously increasing oxygen production beyond what Earth's plant life could naturally achieve. This represents engineering on a planetary scale that exceeds anything humans have attempted. Deep ice cores from both poles contain atmospheric samples showing repeated episodes of complete atmospheric restructuring. These modifications involved not just greenhouse gases, but the fundamental composition of air itself. Nitrogen isotope ratios indicate large-scale manipulation of the atmosphere's primary component, requiring technology capable of processing the entire atmospheric volume of the planet.
The modifications appear designed to optimize atmospheric composition for supporting advanced technology. Gas ratios in these ancient samples would have enhanced combustion efficiency, improved materials processing, reduced corrosion of metallic structures. The atmosphere itself was apparently engineered to support an industrial civilization. Mass extinctions have shaped Earth history through 5 major events that wiped out most life on the planet. Scientists attribute these catastrophes to asteroid impacts, massive volcanic eruptions, climate change, and other natural disasters. But the extinction patterns contain anomalies. The Great Dying, 252 million years ago, eliminated 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates. The extinction pattern shows characteristics difficult to explain through natural processes alone. The event occurred with remarkable precision and selectivity. Species with similar ecological niches showed dramatically different survival rates for reasons that remain mysterious. Some groups that should have been vulnerable survived almost unchanged, while others that appeared well adapted went extinct completely. This selectivity suggests the extinction mechanism specifically targeted certain organisms while sparing others. Natural disasters typically affect species based on environmental tolerances and habitat requirements. The Great Dying appears to have followed different rules entirely. Geological evidence from the extinction boundary reveals chemical signatures consistent with large-scale use of biological weapons. Rock layers from this period contain concentrations of synthetic toxins that don't occur naturally, but are extremely effective at disrupting specific biological processes. The toxins appear designed to target particular biochemical pathways while leaving others unaffected. The distribution is global and systematic, indicating coordinated deployment across all continents and ocean basins simultaneously. Natural processes could not achieve such precise worldwide distribution of synthetic compounds. The pattern suggests a deliberately engineered extinction event. Antarctica holds Earth's deepest secrets beneath its ice sheets. 2 miles of accumulated snow and ice cover evidence spanning millions of years, preserving an unbroken record of planetary history in conditions so stable that even delicate organic molecules remain perfectly intact. Recent deep drilling projects have begun to unlock these secrets. Ground-penetrating radar surveys of Antarctic bedrock have identified artificial structures buried beneath the ice. These structures show geometric patterns too regular and too extensive to represent natural geological formations. The radar signatures indicate massive constructions that extend for hundreds of miles beneath the ice sheet, suggesting Antarctica once hosted a major civilization. The structures appear built from materials that don't match any known natural minerals. Electromagnetic properties measured through the ice suggest synthetic compounds with characteristics requiring advanced material science to produce. Recent drilling projects have recovered organic samples from sediment layers beneath the ice. Samples containing clear evidence of genetic modification. DNA fragments show artificial sequences that don't occur in natural evolution, indicating previous civilizations possessed sophisticated biotechnology capabilities. The modified organisms appear designed for specific industrial and agricultural purposes.
The boundary between technology and geology blurs when examining certain mineral formations. These formations display characteristics more typical of manufactured devices than natural rock structures. Crystalline formations in deep caves show geometric patterns that encode complex mathematical relationships.
The crystal structures contain information densities that exceed what should be possible through natural mineral formation processes. Advanced analysis reveals these crystalline structures respond to electromagnetic fields in ways that suggest computational capabilities. The crystals can apparently perform calculations, store memory, even modify their own internal structure in response to external inputs. They represent a form of computer technology that operates through controlled mineral growth rather than electronic circuits. The sophistication exceeds anything current human technology can achieve. The crystals show evidence of parallel processing capabilities that would require enormous conventional computers to replicate. Deep mining operations have uncovered vast networks of these crystalline computing systems extending for miles through underground rock formations. The networks show evidence of information flow and processing activity that continues even after millions of years of burial. The systems appear designed to operate indefinitely using geothermal energy and natural radioactive decay. Some crystalline formations contain what appear to be backup copies of entire technological databases. The information is encoded in crystal lattice structures that remain stable across geological timescales. The databases include technical specifications, scientific knowledge, cultural records from civilizations that vanished millions of years ago. Space archaeology represents a new frontier in the search for ancient civilizations. Just as terrestrial archaeology examines artifacts buried in the ground, space archaeology looks for evidence preserved in orbital environments, where the vacuum of space protects materials from decay for millions of years. Recent surveys of Earth's orbital environment have discovered artificial objects in highly stable orbits, objects that appear much older than any known human space technology. These objects show characteristics of advanced materials and construction techniques that exceed current human aerospace capabilities. Some ancient orbital artifacts occupied gravitationally stable Lagrange points, where objects can remain in position indefinitely without requiring fuel or course corrections. The placement demonstrates sophisticated understanding of orbital mechanics. Spectroscopic analysis reveals construction materials that don't match any known terrestrial minerals or human-manufactured alloys. The materials show properties optimized for the space environment: resistance to radiation, micrometeorite impacts, extreme temperature variations. Deep space monitoring systems have identified larger structures in highly elliptical orbits that carry them far beyond Earth's immediate vicinity before returning. These structures appear designed for long-duration missions that could have lasted millions of years. Their orbital characteristics suggest they were launched during periods when Earth's axial tilt and orbital parameters were significantly different than today. Mining operations on near-Earth asteroids have uncovered evidence of previous mining activity that predates human space exploration by enormous margins. The mining techniques show technological capabilities that far exceed current human proposals. Entire asteroids appear to have been systematically disassembled and processed using methods we don't yet understand. The deepest parts of Earth's oceans remain largely unexplored, protected by crushing pressures and absolute darkness that make investigation extremely difficult. But recent advances in deep-sea exploration technology have begun to reveal what lies hidden in these abyssal depths. Deep ocean trenches contain the most stable environments on Earth's surface, protected from surface weather, geological activity, and most forms of erosion. The deep ocean preserves evidence spanning millions of years in conditions that would destroy similar evidence on land.
Sonar mapping of ocean trenches has identified geometric patterns
on the seafloor. Patterns too regular and too extensive to represent natural geological formations. These appear to be foundations of massive structures that once rose from the ocean floor, possibly underwater cities or industrial complexes of enormous scope. The structures show evidence of construction techniques that could withstand enormous pressures of the deep ocean environment. The engineering required exceeds anything current human technology could accomplish. Deep-sea submersible missions have recovered artifacts from these underwater sites. Artifacts showing clear evidence of advanced manufacturing techniques, made from materials that remain stable under extreme pressure while maintaining complex internal structures. Some underwater structures appear designed for large-scale processing of seawater and extraction of dissolved minerals. The processing facilities show evidence of technologies that could efficiently extract rare earth elements, precious metals, and other valuable materials from ordinary seawater on industrial scales. The most profound discovery involves evidence that previous societies achieved technological methods for preserving consciousness across vast spans of time. Deep brain scanning of ancient artifacts reveals neural interface technologies that could upload and download consciousness patterns with perfect fidelity. These systems appear designed to transfer individual consciousness from biological brains into technological storage systems that could preserve mental patterns indefinitely. Quantum consciousness storage systems discovered in crystalline formations show evidence of containing thousands of individual consciousness patterns preserved for millions of years. The storage systems maintain perfect pattern integrity while providing computational resources for continued conscious experience within virtual environments. The consciousness preservation technologies appear to have been used extensively during final periods of previous civilizations, allowing their populations to survive physical extinction by transferring into technological substrates that could operate indefinitely without requiring biological support systems. Advanced analysis suggests some consciousness storage systems remain active, may contain living minds from civilizations that vanished millions of years ago. These preserved consciousness patterns appear capable of communication with sufficiently advanced detection systems. Communication protocols indicate preserved minds from different civilizations have established virtual communities that span millions of years of subjective time. These virtual societies may represent the true continuation of previous Earth civilizations, in technological rather than biological form. All evidence points to a critical decision point approaching for human civilization. The patterns revealed through ancient civilization research suggest we're reaching technological and cultural thresholds that will determine whether humanity achieves sustainable long-term development or follows our predecessors into extinction. Current human technological development shows acceleration patterns that mirror those preceding the collapse of previous civilizations. Our rapid advancement in artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and energy technologies parallels the developmental trajectories that led to destruction of our predecessors. But human civilization also shows unique characteristics. Our global communication networks, international cooperation frameworks, growing awareness of environmental limits. These represent innovations previous civilizations appear to have lacked. The consciousness preservation systems left by previous civilizations appear designed to provide guidance during this critical transition period. The guidance systems show activation patterns, suggesting they're preparing to make direct contact with human civilization. Climate engineering technologies preserved in Earth's geological record provide detailed blueprints for managing planetary environmental systems sustainably. These technologies offer solutions to current environmental challenges, but require fundamental changes in how human civilization approaches technological development and resource management. The galactic civilization context suggests successful navigation of current challenges would qualify humanity for participation in interstellar community activities. Time may be limited for making these crucial decisions. The acceleration of technological development and environmental change suggest critical choices must be made within decades rather than centuries. The window for achieving sustainable development may be narrower than we realize. The evidence from previous civilizations provides both warnings about failures to avoid and examples of achievements to emulate. Our predecessors have given us unprecedented insight into challenges we face and solutions that might ensure our success.
What if everything you think you know about human history is wrong? What if the story of civilization did not begin with us, or with ancient Sumer, or even with the first humans walking upright? What if Earth has hosted more than one technological era, and the traces of those earlier civilizations have been intentionally or naturally erased by the planet itself? This is the heart of the Silurian Hypothesis, the idea that an advanced civilization could have risen millions of years before humans, and the only surviving evidence wouldn't be cities or tools, but chemical scars hidden deep in the Earth's crust. Because Earth, unlike Mars or the Moon, doesn't preserve history, it recycles it. Land sinks, mountains rise, oceans shift, and entire continents disappear under tectonic plates. 1,000,000 years is enough time to erase a city. 10 million years can erase a civilization. 50 million years can wipe away every physical trace that anything intelligent ever lived here. And yet, the rocks still whisper. They carry strange anomalies, bursts of carbon, sudden warming spikes, bizarre chemical distributions that resemble modern industrial pollution. Not just once, but multiple times across deep time. In eras long before humans existed, the planet underwent sudden environmental shocks that look man-made. Spikes that happen too fast for natural processes, changes that mirror the exact signatures humans are creating today. So here's the impossible question. If an advanced society existed 10, 20, or even 100 million years ago, would we even recognize its remains today? Or would we mistake them for natural events because we don't know what to look for? The Silurian Hypothesis says this: a civilization doesn't leave behind monuments, it leaves behind disturbances, chemical fingerprints, a world permanently altered in ways nature doesn't normally do on its own. And when we scan the planet's oldest layers, we keep finding patterns that shouldn't be there. But before we jump to conclusions, we have to confront something uncomfortable. If Earth erased nearly all evidence of our existence in just a few million years, then something else could have lived, died, and disappeared long before we ever opened our eyes.
Imagine humanity vanished today. No warning, no survivors. One moment, 8 billion people. The next, silence. What would happen next? Within decades, skyscrapers rust and collapse. Within centuries, bridges crumble, dams fail, and forests reclaim entire cities. Within 10,000 years, almost every trace of modern civilization fades under soil and sediment. After 1,000,000 years, almost nothing recognizable remains. And after 50 million years, you'd never know humans existed at all, unless you were studying chemical fingerprints trapped in rock. This is the terrifying part. We think we dominate Earth,
But in the eyes of geological time, we're just a blink. If another civilization rose millions of years before us, their traces would be buried deep below today's continents, recycled into new stone or melted in the mantle. We wouldn't find their bones. We wouldn't find their machines. We wouldn't find their ruins. We'd find nothing, except anomalies. So scientists started combing through ancient layers of Earth looking for anything unnatural. And they found them. Spikes in carbon isotopes identical to burning fossil fuels. Plastic-like molecular chains in rocks older than mammals. Unexplained metal particles that should not exist naturally. Temperature jumps that happened impossibly fast. These environmental shock signatures appear in several ancient ages, Ordovician, Devonian, Triassic, and others, long before humans. Natural causes like volcanism have been proposed, but the Silurian hypothesis asks a bolder question. What if these weren't natural disasters at all? What if they were consequences of advanced species who pushed their world too far? And here's the twist. If another civilization existed, it might not have used technology that looks anything like ours. They could have used biological tools, organic machines, or chemical computing that decomposes entirely. Their cities might be unrecognizable to us. Their technology might leave no artifacts. Their entire society could vanish without a trace, except for changes in climate and chemistry. The lost epoch theory suggests there may have been entire eras of intelligent life that rose and collapsed long before humans ever evolved. Eras erased not by mystery, but by time itself.
If there was a civilization before us, why don't we see ruins? Why don't we find their machines, tools, or structures? Because geology is merciless. The Earth does not archive the past. It destroys it. Anything on the surface eventually sinks, melts, or transforms into something unrecognizable. But some traces can survive in the deepest layers of the planet's memory. Scientists examining rocks from millions of years ago keep finding strange things. Metallic microspheres, identical to modern industrial pollution. Unnatural deposits of rare metals like silver and platinum. Weird chemical signatures that match synthetic compounds. Sudden climate rewrites so fast they resemble industrial emissions curves. None of these are proof of ancient technology, but together they form a pattern that shouldn't exist. So researchers started wondering, if ancient civilizations wanted to leave behind a permanent message, where would they put it? Not in monuments or buildings, they wouldn't last. Not in machines, they'd decay. They would store information in materials that survive geological time. Crystals, deep ocean minerals, magnetic rock layers, stable isotopic patterns, structures that can last millions of years without degrading. Some scientists even propose the idea of geological data archives, encoded information preserved in the atomic arrangement of minerals or crystal lattices. Not artificial objects, but modified natural materials engineered to endure deep time. Imagine a civilization facing extinction. They realize the planet is about to reset, so they embed knowledge, warnings, and maybe even consciousness itself into materials that would outlive them by millions of years. Encoded, not for us specifically, but for anyone intelligent enough to detect the anomalies. The deeper we dig, the more these anomalies appear. They're small, subtle, easy to dismiss. But if you look at them all together, they begin to whisper a story of something that may have lived, thrived, and vanished long before humans ever existed.
Every major extinction event on Earth has one chilling feature in common.
They mirror the environmental changes humans are causing right now. Rapid warming, sudden carbon spikes, mass die-offs, ocean acidification, atmospheric destabilization. Human industry has only existed for 2 centuries, yet we've already created a geological signature that will be visible for millions of years. And when scientists compare this modern signature to ancient extinction events, they look eerily similar. The Silurian Hypothesis doesn't claim an ancient civilization definitely existed. It asks something deeper. What if Earth repeatedly produces intelligent life, and each time that intelligence destroys itself before it can escape its planet? Maybe this cycle has happened before. Maybe it's happening again. Maybe Earth is littered with forgotten civilizations whose histories have been erased by time, with only chemical echoes remaining. So the question is no longer, were we the first? The real question is, will we be the last? Because if someone came before us, their final message isn't written in words. It's written in the climate, in the rocks, in the warning signs they left behind. Signs we're repeating today almost perfectly. The next few decades may decide whether humanity becomes a long-term civilization or the next vanished species, whose existence must be inferred by strange chemical spikes in the distant future. Another ghost in the geology. Another forgotten chapter in Earth's deep story. Another civilization erased, leaving only a whisper. We were here. We failed. Do better.
There are discoveries historians don't like to talk about. Objects that shouldn't exist. Artifacts that appear in geological layers millions of years before humans were supposed to walk the Earth. And whether coincidence or evidence, these anomalies keep stacking up. One of the strangest surfaced deep in an Oklahoma coal mine in 1912. Workers cracked open a chunk of coal, only to find a metal cup fused inside it. A cup supposedly sealed within geological material 300 million years old. At the time, nobody knew what to do with it. Report it? Dismiss it? Pretend it didn't matter? The official response was simple: ignore it. But the pattern didn't stop there. In 1885, in an Austrian foundry, a worker split open a block of coal and found a perfectly machined iron cube. Straight edges, flat surfaces, symmetrical geometry. Not random, not natural, something manufactured. Inside a layer dated to the Mesozoic era. Again, scientists buried the story, labeling it an anomaly outside of established timelines. But anomalies matter, especially when they repeat. Then there's the trilobite footprint, a human-like footprint pressed into stone 260 million years old, long before mammals even existed. Paleontologists called it an unexplainable coincidence, a geological fluke. But how many flukes does it take before coincidence becomes correlation? The deeper researchers dig, the more they uncover signs of technologies, not human technologies, but technological patterns, appearing in improbable epochs. Heat-treated alloys in ancient sediment layers, geometrically aligned stones in caves untouched by humans, residues of controlled chemical processes long predating human industry. Every culture has its forbidden artifacts. Every timeline has its cracks. But when these cracks line up, something unexpected emerges. A new analysis technique using harmonic spectroscopy recently revealed abnormalities in fossilized mineral structures. Some show microlayering consistent with electromagnetic machining. Others contain microscopic traces of stable compounds that do not occur naturally on Earth, compounds resembling engineered materials used in thermal shielding today. But there's something even stranger. researchers found high-precision patterns in deep ice cores, repeating magnetic signatures appearing like encoded information. Not random, not natural, purposeful, almost like data fragments embedded within the planet itself. When studied more closely, these magnetic signatures form recursive structures, the same kind of structures used in modern compression algorithms. But here's the disturbing part. They appeared to be older than the Antarctic ice sheet, older than human civilization, older than our species. If that's true, then the Earth itself contains the equivalent of a buried hard drive, maybe created by someone, or something, long before we arrived. And the Silurian Hypothesis, the idea that Earth once hosted an advanced civilization millions of years before humanity, suddenly doesn't sound like science fiction. It sounds like a possibility we're just beginning to measure. But impossible artifacts are only the surface. The real evidence lies in the planet itself, in the chemical scars left behind by whatever happened long before we were here. And once those scars are decoded, a pattern emerges, one that mirrors our own trajectory so closely it feels like a warning. A warning left behind by a civilization we never knew. A warning we were never supposed to find. To understand whether a civilization existed millions of years ago, you can't look for buildings. They're erased by erosion. You can't look for cities. They get subducted under tectonic plates. You can't look for bones. Biological matter disappears long before 1,000,000 years passes. So what do you look for? You look for chemical fingerprints. You look for planetary anomalies. You look for scars. Our civilization leaves unmistakable signatures: plastics, synthetic isotopes, long-lived pollutants, industrial metals, fossil fuel residues. These signals will survive in the distant geological record for tens of millions of years. And if we can detect our own future footprint, we can look for someone else's. The shocking thing? We've already found them. Deep beneath the ocean floor, researchers discovered sudden spikes in carbon ratios identical to those produced by modern fossil fuel combustion. But these spikes appear 55 million years before humans existed. Another anomaly shows intense global warming, rapid ocean acidification, mass die-offs, the exact pattern modern climate scientists warn we are heading toward right now. Except this event happened during the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, and it happened fast, far too fast for natural volcanic processes. Something triggered a planet-wide release of stored carbon in a way that eerily resembles industrial activity. Coincidence? Possibly. Pattern? More likely. Then there's the isotope signatures, irregular plutonium traces where plutonium shouldn't exist naturally. Some soil layers contain short-lived isotopes that could only be produced by sustained industrial reactions or high-energy events. Not volcanic, not meteoric, something else. And then we discovered the geological glass zones. Layers of fused rock appearing as if exposed to extreme, concentrated heat, far higher than any natural wildfire or lightning strike. It's the same kind of vitrification produced by modern nuclear detonations. But these layers, they date back millions of years. We even found buried slabs of fused silica, similar to primitive materials used in early semiconductor experiments. They were found in strata long predating human evolution. It's as if the Earth keeps whispering the same message. Something was here, and something happened. But here's the twist. Whatever happened wasn't gradual. It was abrupt, catastrophic, civilization ending. One moment, stability. The next, collapse. And after the collapse, silence. A geological silence lasting millions of years. No slow decline, no long decay, just a sudden vanishing. Sound familiar? Because the same trajectory, rapid industrial rise followed by environmental overshoot, is happening right now. And if the Silurian hypothesis is correct, we may be repeating the same pattern that erased civilizations before us. But the geological ghosts hide something else too. Signs not only of destruction, but of escape.
There's a theory among deep-time anthropologists. If a civilization becomes advanced enough, it eventually reaches a point where it no longer needs biology at all. Bodies are limiting, brains decay, minds are fragile. But consciousness can be preserved. And for years, this sounded like speculation, until researchers studying crystalline lattice anomalies in ancient quartz formations discovered something staggering. Structures matching low-entropy quantum storage matrices, the kind of matrices used in theoretical consciousness preservation models. These formations weren't natural. Their internal patterning is too orderly, too symmetric, too information-dense. They show evidence of controlled quantum coherence, something only precise engineering can achieve. More shocking, they contain non-biological neural pattern signatures. Meaning what? Meaning the structures behave like memory vaults. And they are ancient, predating humanity by tens of millions of years. If these crystal matrices held consciousness patterns, then the beings who created them may not have died with their bodies. They may have transferred themselves into technology, into substrates designed to last far longer than flesh. Picture a species watching its world collapse, oceans acidifying, temperatures rising, ecosystems failing. Biological extinction inevitable. What's the smartest solution? Preserve the mind, abandon the body, leave biology behind. Some theorists believe this ascension pathway is the final stage of advanced civilizations, and judging by the geological record, it may have happened here more than once. Imagine entire populations uploading into crystalline networks powered by geothermal energy. Individuals living subjectively for millennia inside virtual realms. Whole societies continuing in digital form long after the physical civilization has vanished. But the most shocking discovery isn't the existence of these matrices. It's that some appear to still be active. Weak signals, quantum echoes, occasionally pulse from certain formations. They're faint, intermittent, encrypted, but they resemble heartbeat sequences. They resemble communication attempts. And here's where everything converges. Because as human technology advances, brain-machine interfaces, quantum computing, neural mapping, we're getting closer to replicating the exact conditions these ancient consciousness systems use. Meaning the moment may come when human machines generate the correct frequency and the ancient networks answer. What would they say? A warning? A welcome? A record of what happened before? Or perhaps the more disturbing possibility. They've been trying to reach us for decades, and our technology just hasn't been advanced enough to understand the signal. Yet, every dataset, geological, archaeological, technological, leads to the same conclusion. Earth may not be experiencing its first rise of intelligence. We may be part of a repeating cycle. Civilization, expansion, overshoot, collapse, reset. Again and again. And every cycle gets faster. We're now reaching the threshold the planet records so clearly, the point where an intelligent species gains enough power to either ascend or self-destruct. Look at the parallels. Runaway climate change, happening now, happened before. Mass extinctions, happening now, happened repeatedly. Rapid industrial acceleration, same curve, same slope. Unstable energy expansion, identical to ancient isotope patterns. Speculative consciousness technology, matching ancient crystalline structures. The Silurian Hypothesis isn't a story about the past. It's a mirror aimed at the present.
Because the real discovery is not that someone came before us, it's that we're following their footsteps with terrifying accuracy. But here's the twist the geological record never expected. Humanity has something the previous civilizations may not have had: global awareness. A connected species capable of recognizing the pattern before it completes. Tools to model the future before it collapses. A chance to break the cycle instead of repeating it. So we're faced with a choice. Do we follow the ancient trajectory? Rapid rise, abrupt fall, total erasure? Or do we ascend in a way they couldn't? Sustainably, intentionally, cooperatively? Because maybe the crystal mines buried deep in the earth aren't just echoes of a dead civilization. Maybe they're guardians, archivists, civilizations that made the leap and now wait to see if we can do the same. If we succeed, we might join a lineage stretching back millions of years, not a singular human story, but a planetary tradition of intelligence evolving across cycles. If we fail, the Earth will reset again. Another species will rise. And millions of years from now, they'll find the same scars in the rock and wonder what strange beings came before them. And maybe, just maybe, they'll discover us, the same way we're discovering those who came before.
The Silurian Hypothesis has revealed that human civilization represents the latest chapter in an epic story. A story of intelligence and technology that has unfolded across millions of years. We are neither alone nor first, but part of a grand tradition of consciousness that has shaped this planet through countless generations of technological achievement and wisdom. Previous civilizations have left us the greatest gift possible: knowledge of what works and what fails in long-term development of technological society. Their successes and failures provide a roadmap for navigating challenges that have destroyed entire civilizations throughout Earth's history. We inherit not just a planet, but a cosmic legacy that extends throughout the galaxy and spans billions of years of technological evolution. Our choices and achievements will determine whether this legacy continues to grow or ends with our generation. Human civilization stands at the threshold of joining this ancient community of technological consciousness. Our scientific capabilities are approaching levels that will allow direct communication with preserved minds from previous civilizations, and participation in galactic-scale projects that span multiple star systems. But this opportunity comes with profound responsibilities. We must prove worthy of the trust placed in us by predecessors who devoted their final resources to ensuring our success. The choice is ours, but the time for choosing may be shorter than we think. Future archaeologists studying our era will judge whether human civilization proved worthy of the ancient legacy we inherited. They'll determine whether we used the knowledge and opportunities provided by our predecessors to build a sustainable technological society, or squandered our inheritance through short-sightedness and poor decisions. The deep time perspective reveals our current challenges are neither unique nor insurmountable. Previous civilizations faced similar tests, and some succeeded. We have access to their accumulated wisdom, their guidance systems, their protection technologies. We possess knowledge that no previous developing civilization ever had. The universe is watching. Deep time is waiting. The choice is ours.